stupid selection because I went for 7 Thorax swords when I meant to bring 6 and some skirmishers. But what can you do? Happens sometimes. I also have 2 mercenary Thracian cavalry, 4 Thessalians, 2 Royal Peltasts and an archer. I was supposed to have more archers, but like I said, I messed up. And it looks like I'm up against the Roman skirmisher and infantry spam, and the balance of power does not favor me at all. But luckily I moved up here, so I'll be able to fight through the woods, and that should help to mitigate his skirmishing advantage. And also I have cavalry, while my opponent opted to not bring any cavalry. I'll just go over his build real quick. He has 5 units of Hastati. He has... how many legionary cohorts? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legionary cohorts, 2 evocati on the extreme flank, 3 auxiliary Syrian archers, and 2 auxiliary Balearic slingers. So it's going to be quite a challenge chopping through all of these Roman units. I am outnumbered in the infantry department, I am outnumbered in the skirmishing department, but I have some cavalry and I'm going to have to use it to really good effect. So to stop my opponent from moving up here, I'm going to send in my Thessalians, get a charge on this legionary cohort and hopefully break through. I might have to sacrifice a unit here to push him far enough back, but it looks like he isn't going to be able to brace, and I'm not going to get a good charge here. Well, actually I am. Pretty decent. This unit is going to be able to make it through, and not getting a huge amount of kills, but since these guys aren't braced, I am able to make it into the auxiliary Syrian archers and create some mayhem. So pulling back here, after doing some damage to the legionary cohort, I'm not going to waste any time going after his general here. Already a unit of auxiliary Syrian archers is wavering, so that's extremely good. I'm going to take my time to get my forces organized on the top of this hill, get some shots off on his legatus. I moved my Thessalians into both the Syrian archers and the legatus, so the legatus is already wavering, which is extremely good for me. It isn't crucial to do that against Rome, since most of their troops are disciplined, but the skirmishers are not disciplined, so it might play a factor there. Sending in the Thorax swords, they have a slightly better charge bonus than this legionary cohort, and it's always nice to get the charge. Here some javelins and missiles are coming in, but I'll be able to fight downhill, and I'll be able to take cover in the woods here. So just some trolling with the Thracian cavalry on the flanks. I have to wait a while until more units are engaged, until I start sending in my cavalry. Charging all across the line, that charge I messed up that one. These units here, I messed up that as well, because let's see if I managed to give charge orders. Nope, not getting charge orders, so that was pretty bad. I meant to push them through and here, but I was busy microing my cavalry, so these guys are not going to get a good charge. I'm going to put them into shield wall to reduce the casualties they'll take, but still they have the elevation advantage. This unit of archers is just going to shoot at Hastati because they have the less armor, and I want to remove them quickly. My Thessalians are now open to start attacking these auxiliary Syrian archers, and they are supported by evocati, but only by evocati in very thin lines. But I want to wait until I can engage them from both sides, so that it won't be easy for them to escape. If the only way they can escape is here, I will be able to destroy them easier than if I charge into these blobs of evocati. So my Royal Peltasts doing well, sent in the other unit of Royal Peltasts here, and Royal Peltasts are extremely good against Rome. Royal Peltasts of course have very good melee attack, they have decent weapon damage, they have decent armor penetration. They're just all around great units. Usually get around 200 kills on them. And here I charge the evocati, not the best charge, but I still managed to do some damage to them, which is going to be important in the late game. A unit of legionaries and Hastati destroyed by Thorax swords and legionary cohorts. So by having to protect his skirmishers here, he's going to be at a disadvantage in the infantry fight, although he has more infantry, so that's pretty good for me. Here a unit of Thessalians is going to catch these 2 units, get a good charge through this unit of evocati. Well, nope, it's going to stop. But still it's going to be able to tie down a lot of these skirmishers at once, and here come Thorax swords through the woods. So I was able to catch a fair amount of skirmishers here, not getting a huge amount of kills on these Thessalians. shooting with my archers, trying to snipe his legatus, and it works, so pretty good. Thessalians are not being microed well here. I should have just continued to charge them through, but I'm busy microing these guys over here, charging into the thin lines of legionary cohorts and Evocati, and these guys are taking a lot of damage from the cavalry charges now, and his skirmishers are being pushed away. So this is starting to look doable for me here, although I still have a lot of Romans left to kill. Getting some shots into the rear of these legionary cohorts is going to kill them off very, very quickly. Archers are starting to get some kills, nothing major. The Royal Peltasts are doing a lot of damage, and the shield wall, weird things happen with shield wall sometimes, and this is one of those cases, and I didn't notice, so I have to be more aware of that in the future. My Thorax swords and Thessalians are still alive, causing mayhem here, and this is what I want. I want his skirmishers to pull away from his main line, so I can send in my cavalry to deal with them. And mercenary Thracians, decent in melee, so I'll be able to send them in against these auxiliary Balearic slingers and take down quite a few of them. I don't know if it's enough to break them, it doesn't look like it, but managed to do some damage and to stop them from firing. And this unit of Thorax sword, I should have put them into shield wall, because they're going to die very quickly from these Evocati. The skirmishers are quickly becoming a non-factor, so I thought this battle was kind of interesting because my opponent had a decisive infantry advantage while I had a decisive cavalry advantage, and it was easier for me to use the cavalry advantage faster against his skirmishers than it was for him to break through my infantry. And also, me taking this hill was extremely important. If I'd engaged him head on here, I think I probably would have lost the infantry engagement a lot faster than I am now, but I am losing the infantry engagement, losing a lot of Thorax swords. My Royal Peltasts units are they are losing men, but they are doing very well getting into the rear of these legionary units. Almost at 200 kills now. Not many skirmishers left. They are being herded, like I planned, out away from the Evocati, and auxiliary Syrian archers and Balearic slingers weren't really able to do a lot in this battle. I think I almost have equal amounts of kills on my just basic archer unit here. So it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if I had, instead of the one unit of Thorax swords, because I don't think I really would have needed it, instead of the one unit of Thorax swords, if I had some additional units of these cheap archers, maybe that would have been useful. The skirmishers over here are getting destroyed, and now I am able to bring my cavalry in for rear charges and such, which is going to be very important because my Thorax swords are wavering. I'm losing a lot of them. But still, the enemy units are also starting to waver. They are losing the battle now, and they are open for rear charges. My general is still doing very well against these Evocati. They are exhausted because they ran after cavalry, and Evocati wavering at almost 90 men is a beautiful thing to behold, because grinding them down in melee is a nightmare. So the cavalry comes in here to finish the job, and as you can see, the game is about to be concluded, and it's going to be concluded in the most gracious way possible, by a drop. So not conceding defeat, but by just dropping. So Free left the game right about here. End of the battle, costly victory, and I didn't mean to bring 7 of these Thorax swords, as I said. The Royal Peltasts always do extremely well against Rome. I'm happy with the mercenary Thracians, happy with the Thessalians. Some of these were sacrificed to get an advantage early on. His Evocati did okay, but none of these units really did stellar, and mostly because of the terrain advantage and because of the shield wall formation. And bringing a lot of infantry like this can be very effective, but it can also be risky if your opponent is able to use his cavalry to get to your skirmishers. And if you look at these guys, they barely got 100 kills, and these are 5 units of very elite skirmishers. So my Thracians, 2 Thracian cavalry did better than all of these skirmishers together. So I think it would have been a good idea to maybe, instead of the Hastati, just bring some Equites to protect the skirmishers if you're going this skirmish heavy. But nice battle, I think. Too bad it ended in a drop for Free, but that happens a lot in quick battles. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the battlefield.